The most valuable thing in this life, right here, right now, is your energy. First off, I would really like to thank everyone who sent in replies when we sent out a request for advice seekers. You guys know that I write by inspiration, and giving you guys a chance to ask questions means that I get to know that my answers and what I'm writing is directly connecting with whoever asked, and it will definitely help other people who are also maybe wondering the same things. By now, you know that I am a big storyteller, which means that there is no way that I can answer everybody's responses in one email because there's just so much more to say. So watch for additional emails and additional YouTube videos on the different topics that people asked about. I will work to make sure that I answer every one of them. And again, thank you for reaching out. A couple of people wrote in and asked about healthy boundaries. Boundaries with yourself, boundaries with your friends, your family, boundaries with people that you know love to push them. And while these three things kind of sound very different, in my world, they all really intertwine, and they all mean the same thing, that you can use the same tools to work with it. It boils down to boundaries, flat out boundaries with yourself, with others, and with family. So how can you have better relationships by using boundaries and whatnot? So telling a story, giving you a visual, I want you to picture a castle wall. What is it made out of? How tall is it? How big is it? How thick? Is there a moat around this castle wall, or are people able to walk right up to the wall? And if there's a moat, there must be a bridge. Is there one or two? When you look at this castle wall, are there sentinels posted around, or does it look kind of abandoned? Take a look. Where is it at? Now, picture these as your castle walls, your boundaries. In picturing this castle wall, I also want you to think about the type of defenses that that castle might need. Do you need long-range stuff like cannons and arrows? Or do you need hand-to-hand combat so that you can work through whatever might be coming to attack this castle? In thinking about this, in creating this in your mind, I want you to now put yourself inside that castle. These walls are your boundaries. If you build a castle wall that's 18 inches high, people can easily run right over it. They can come right in and blaze past it. If it's made of paper, if it's made of thin wood, what are your walls made of? These are your boundaries that you have set up to keep yourself and what's inside safe and sacred. And everything outside of those castle walls may want to get in. Now, when I ask you about long range or hand-to-hand combat, and whether or not there are sentinels on these walls, think about this. You have set boundaries. And in setting those boundaries, you need to know what's coming. If you're hiding out in the middle of the wall, in the middle of that castle with all of these beautiful walls surrounding you, and they are 20 feet tall, they are huge, they are 3 feet thick, made of stone, nobody's getting through that. You're hunkered down inside, but you don't know what's coming. So somebody who's very persistent, a rock climber, might be able to climb the outside of that wall and come in and still push your boundaries. If you don't have sentinels, if you don't have someone looking out for what's coming, what's there, what do you need to be prepared for, then you're in trouble. Now, sentinels are like thinking forward. Sentinels are, I need to spend time with this person, and I know that this person likes to push my boundaries. So how can I set things up so that my boundaries are still honored? Do I need to set a timeline? Do I need to verbalize my boundaries to them and then stand strong? What am I going to say in reaction when they try to push my boundaries? How can I make sure that I am protecting my precious resource of time and energy from whatever is coming? Those sentinels let you know that it's coming. Those sentinels are helping you plan ahead and know how you're going to deal with what's coming. Is it going to be hand-to-hand combat, or are you better able to keep it at a distance and you don't necessarily have to be right in each other's faces because you're able to manage those boundaries? And yes, you have the castle wall, but perhaps you have a mile-long lawn or a bunch of brambles before they can get to your castle wall because you need added protection against some things. These boundaries are easily applicable to yourself as well. You can set boundaries on yourself. Hey, I want to watch my finances. I want to eat healthier. I want to exercise more. I want to da 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 da. Whatever that is, you get to set boundaries for yourself and expectations for yourself. And then you have sentinels, you have awareness that will help you prepare for the next time you'll be tempted to not, or tempted to do something else. The next time that you are confronted with this one thing that you have said, I would like to eliminate it from my life. You are the one who has the power. This is your life. These are your boundaries, whether they be for yourself, saying, I need self-care, so I'm going to build this castle wall around myself so that I can get self-care instead of constantly giving to other people and burning myself out. Or if it's protecting from what's outside, wanting to come in and drain and take your energy. I learned a long time ago that having an answer ahead of time is key to me being able to manage and maintain expectations, whether that be for myself or other people. If I know that somebody's going to come and ask for something, if I know they want to push me a little bit further, knowing ahead of time that I'm going to turn them down and knowing ahead of time that I need to protect my own self or my own energy means that I am ready with that response. There's no pausing. There's no temptation to give in to them. There's no squishiness in the moat. It is solid flowing water, and there's no way that they can get past it because I already thought through it and I already have an answer for whatever it is that is coming my way. Let me give you a couple more really specific examples. Say you want to cut out alcohol or something from your diet. The first step in building your castle walls is to remove whatever this is from your vicinity. So for me, that's removing alcohol, that's removing sugar. Maybe that's you recognize that you feel better when you don't eat gluten or other products, right? So your castle walls are removing the temptation from around you in your house, in your kitchen, in your desk at work, right? So you build that up, you clean your fridge, you eliminate those temptations, and your next step in placing sentinels around your castle is to let people know, right? Hey, I am doing this because this. Like, what is your intention? Why are you doing that? And by letting somebody else know, they can support you and they can also help keep you accountable. Hey, I support you because I'm not going to buy you that chocolate bar for Christmas this year. I'm not going to stuff your stocking with that giant chocolate orange. I'm going to give you a real orange instead, or I'm going to do something different so that I can support you in that. Verbalizing to other people is placing sentinels because that gives you a further range. That gives you a larger space to live and exist in that is safer and less under attack from all of the things that are outside. You will still be confronted. You will still have people tempt you and say, hey, you want some of this? You want some of that? If you're cutting something out, it is unbelievably common, especially during the holidays right now, to be tempted by whatever it is that you are trying to cut out. And having an answer beforehand, thanks, I'll pass. Or, I'm cutting that out because I noticed I feel better. Or, hey, I'm trying to be healthier and that's not one of the things that I choose to eat. Having that answer ahead of time means that when you're at the party and those peanut butter balls are there and you are so tempted to eat every single one of them and it would be so good, you already know, I've decided not. And maybe you've even brought yourself a little snack that's on the more nourishing side instead of all the sugar that's there. You have the ability to not only create the boundaries with those castle walls, but add those sentinels and add long range vision so that you can see what's coming at you and already have an answer before it comes, which means that it's easier to follow through on protecting your own boundaries. And that is a boundary with yourself, right? That is a boundary that you want to protect yourself and your well being, not necessarily from everybody outside. One for people outside. The people who you know like to push your boundaries is recognizing who those people are in the first place. Who are they? And how do they push your boundaries? And why are you tempted to take down the castle wall or lower the drawbridge to let them in across your boundary wall? Because you're the one that lets them in, right? You're the one who chooses to let them keep breaching your boundaries. So knowing who they are and how they do, knowing how you or why you feel so tempted to let them in and break those boundaries means that you again are now armed, whether it's with cannons or arrows or hand-to-hand combat. You are now able to say, you know what? The next time that person asks me for XYZ, I can say, I love you and I can't do that right now. Or thanks for inviting me, thanks for asking me, and I need to pass this time. Whatever your response becomes, you already know that those people who want to push your boundaries are going to, and you will already have a response, which makes it so much easier. I promise you, it will be easier to keep your boundaries once you've set them, understand the intention behind them, and then look forward to, what can I say? What can my response be? Why am I tempted? Understanding that, it'll go easier, smoother, so much better. And your boundaries will be a lot stronger. Instead of being cardboard, they are going to be solid stone. Reality is we are all human beings. We need to set boundaries to take care of ourselves. And we are often going to be encouraged to push those boundaries. Sometimes it's good to push the boundaries because we get to learn more about ourselves and what we like and what we don't like. We get to grow when we push a little bit. And then there are times when pushing those boundaries is harmful. Recognizing when that is a beautiful gift. And you will learn, you will find, there will be times where you're like, I'm not so sure, but I think that it will feel better. Build your castle walls. Figure out where your boundaries are, where your needs are, what you need to do for yourself. You are a finite resource. You are a beautiful human being. The most valuable thing in this life, right here, right now, is your energy. If you're exhausted, you can't help yourself and you can't help anybody else. So build those boundaries. Take care of yourself. Put yourself higher on the priority list and come up with answers before with those sentinels that you've posted.